Hello, fellow travelers. This is Veronica from Human Design Journey. And human design actually comes with the notion that we don't need outer authorities to know what is best for us because we are endowed with inner authority, with an internal mechanism and guide, a driver, if you want, which has the direction, the right direction, and is attracting to us the right people, circumstances, situations, places. And we only need to trust the flow of life that we're going to get there. Of course, that's not something to just be believed, it is something to be tested, experimented with. And the inner authority is this internal mechanism inside of us, which is like an anchor to ground us in our authentic frequency so as to give us ground with which to explore um, the outside world. It's something we impact the outside world with. It's what we bring to the table of abundance of the world. It's our uniqueness, which might emerge from being authentically ourselves. And this inner mechanism is the place where we can rely that it's always going to be the same because we're born with it and we're going to die with it. And we can trust that it's consistently going to show us the way. And only we have access to that internal feeling because it's in the body. So let's look at the emotional authority. It is when we have the emotional center in the body defined. So if that center is defined in you, the brown triangle on the right-hand side, solar plexus, then you will be an emotional person. And your way of making decisions is watching your emotional wave. So there are three types of emotional waves. We have tribal emotional waves, which ratchets slowly and then explodes. So you get a little bit angry, then a little bit more, and then a little bit more, more, and more, and then suddenly that's the trigger which makes you explode. Or you might have an individual wave, and that you can see in the specific activations of the gates of your design. So the individual wave spikes. Those people, they look like they're not so emotional and as if the water is silent, not moving, and then suddenly it goes and it can spike up or it can drop down, can spike down. And those are really melodramatic crises. The drama queen and the Marlon Brandos of this world. Then we have the abstract peaks and crashes. So we have also individual openness and closeness. And here we have the abstract peaks and crashes. So it has such a movement going up. But indeed, it looks like nothing much is happening, but slowly it is picking up, picking up, picking up, and then this emotionality can just drop. And then down to pain and then going up to hope again. So no matter what kind of, whether it's collective, abstract or individual or tribal wave that you have, or several, combination of several. It's about the wave nature of your clarity about things in your life. What does this mean? It means that you are an emotional person who, for no reason, it's just a chemical reaction in your body, which leads you to see things from different perspective, the perspective of the hope, where you wear pink glasses, and the perspective of the pain, where you wear gray glasses. And the world is a very different place, and you know it. And it can get very dark when you're down, when you wave, or it can be very rosy when you're on top of your wave, receiving lots of invitations, accepting them, and then you become the person who marries the princess or the prince and wakes up next to the frog, just because you didn't wait long enough for clarity and didn't give a chance to yourself and the other to experience your emotionality. Or the person who wakes up for no reason in bad mood, and the first person who comes in front of your eyes and says something strangely acutely to you, and you ratchet and spike or explode or crash on them, giving guilt trips to people because emotional people are always looking for some reason to attach to this chemistry, which they do not control. And it just comes up. So because of this emotional nature, and when you're down on your wave, this is not some kind of punishment. This is just a possibility to look from a different perspective, from a different point of view. It gives you depthness to things. It opens up another feeling, another feel to it. And thus, emotional people are the deepest people who really know why they like something or somebody or not, because they've seen them, of course, when they give themselves time to gain clarity, because they've seen people from the different points, perspectives of their wave. And you should really give a chance, if you're emotional, to people, to see them several times before you get clear whether these are the right people for you or not. And also give them the chance to see whether they can take you in every part of your wave. Because when the emotional people are up on their wave, it's all roses and balloons, and it's very nice up there. And 50% of the people are emotional. So being not waiting for clarity, but acting chaotically on the upper or down part of their wave, being really, fuzzy bunnies when it comes to taking a decision on the upside of the wave. And the other 50% of people are not emotional, and they reflect, and they travel on the emotional wave, surf on the emotional wave of the emotional people, who control the environment, and they can become twice as happy or twice as sad and feeling pain. So if the emotional person was chaotic and didn't wait for clarity, and emotionally check and probe how they feel through time, and act impulsively on the impulse, on the emotional wave or crash of it, they bring chaos to the world. And the non-emotional become twice more chaotic. And you see, when you look at the world, we have a very emotional world, a very explosive with the news and all in a very emotional way, or in sports and in adrenalized movies, 3D, 4D reality sounds, jumping with parachutes and bungee jumping and all these kind of stimulating your emotions and adrenalized emotions, or looking for new experiences, or all this passion and want and need, sexual desires. All of this is actually coming from this center. So it's emotional authority is about understanding that you have the entire palette of emotional colors, and you are not here to think about things, to process them in mental way, but you're here to process things in emotional way and ask yourself, how does that make me feel? How does this person make me feel? Not what I think about that person. And that is your truth. And now we're talking about emotions and spirituality, but specifically emotions as something being your inner authority. And then in this world where emotions, especially not in the recent years, more and more we become more aware, and there is more emotional intelligence, but basically emotions are looked at as something bad. Think of the British keeping a stiff upper lip, or men should not cry, they're pussies, and um you know, being soft and having a poker face, being like in the East, very not showing emotions, being very not expressing um facial emotions. But if you think about it, actually 70-80% of the communication is through facial expressions, body language, and so on. And emotions drive us. So that's what we watch, emotions. So emotional authority is when the solar plexus is defined here, this center, then this is your authority, the emotional authority. Emotional authority is rooted in the feeling, the mood, and not the thinking. Emotions run in waves, moving from hope to pain and vice versa. Emotional authority is slow and should never be rushed. It's an incredibly deep awareness of the environment, like an emotional radar that picks up on a feeling that's good for you or not. So if something happens, you should give yourself time to go up and down in your wave before you're clear and there is no nervousness in the body, before you're clear how to respond to what happened, to that invitation, initiation, impulse, and uh, basically an emotional being needs to sense the situation or people over a period of time. So the morning is wiser than the evening. Patience is virtue, from different points on their wave to extract the truth. So being allowing yourself to be truthful, emotionally truthful, and allow yourself to experience your emotions, either whether you're up or down on your wave. Usually you don't even know where you are until something provokes it, and that's why you tend to give reason to your emotions. But this different perspective, this additional depth, it can actually be a gift. A lot of poetry and lyrics, art, and other expressions of the self are done by emotional people down on their wave. There is a lot of beauty here, and it's melancholy sometimes, although it might feel like depression and like it's never going to end. It can be really dark down there. But the emotional being needs to sense things, allow itself to also sense the down part, because if you isolate yourself from feeling the down part, then you're isolating yourself from feeling the upper part, because the more sensitive you are, the more sensitive you are to the up or to the down, and the less sensitive you are, the more numb you are, the less you will feel the up and the down. So being emotional is not something to fear, but something to embrace. There is nervousness, of course, but you're built to deal with that. So it's okay to give yourself the possibility to and value your emotionality by giving yourself time, the possibility to evaluate emotionally things through time, through the perspective of time. It's okay to play it hard to get. In fact, it's healthier, because this tension between the emotional and the non-emotional person can be really, really healthy for both sides. For the non-emotional to check out the person in different parts of their wave, whether they can take them or not, and the emotional to see whether this person is for them or not, whether they feel okay with them with both parts of their wave. So it's a good idea to push people and decisions away as long as possible. And have in mind that if you overdo it, then clarity, which can get up to 60, 70%, can be gone again. If there is additional information, which brings nervousness, it can get again not certain, and that's okay. Maybe you need more time to feel clarity. You will never be sure. You will just feel good or not. And that is why we say that for the emotional being, there is no truth in the now. In the moment, there is only part of the truth in the current moment. Then this truth will have a different sound, a different ring to it a moment later, or several moments later. Every time you start thinking, remember, it's about what you feel, not what you think. So emotionality is a gift, and you're really juicy, really attractive to the non-emotional people, with all these explosiveness and passion and desire um, and this there is this feeling in the emotional people, like they're feeling the air with their presence, with their maybe with how they feel and charge the air with their emotionality and feelings, depending on where they are on their wave, whether they're up or down, and it's probably charging it with plus and negatives, and giving a additional charge, which can actually give with its friction, it can give pleasure or not, or pain. If you're emotional, time is your biggest friend. Being patient, waiting out that wave, riding your wave, not avoiding it, not avoiding the down part. This is your movie, and it will open up deeper horizons for you, bigger horizons, and more perspective, more colorful and abundant, rich and experientially giving. So you've been done there, you've been there, done that. And at the end, you will have clarity. And that is the absence of nervousness in the body about the certain decision. You're neither up nor down, then you're ready to take the decision. How do I feel about it? This is your inner authority. It's about how you feel. That's the wisdom in your body. And this is what is the right radar to decision making in your life. You can test it, you can try and see what happens when you didn't wait for clarity and what happens when you waited out patiently your wave until you felt correct in your decision. How did it go? What was the last time that you experimented with that? Was it today? Yesterday? If you want, you can comment in the comment section under the video. You can like it and subscribe to my channel if you want to know more about the other authorities in the body and more about human design and human design basics. This is Veronica from Human Design Journey, and I'll be back with more. Bye for now.